Hey everyone, my name's Jim and welcome back to My Movie Obsession, a place of film obsessives. If you constantly find yourself looking for the next film to obsess over, you're probably in the right place. So it's time for another video podcast. Yep, I done one on Halloween 2018 where I spoiled the movie. This is just going to be a video where I talk about the Grinch 2018. Not going to do any spoilers, but we all know what happens. This is the most spoiled story in history. So almost saying I won't do spoilers is like, there's nothing to spoil here. But if you don't want me to spoil how much the Grinch is green, then, there'll be no spoilers. But, everyone knows what this is. And that's probably one of the problems with it, to be honest. I mean, yes, it's been like over 10 years since the Jim Carrey Grinch. It's been 17 years. Or even longer, I think. 18 years, yeah. Since the Jim Carrey Grinch, so I guess we were due a version for today's kids. But this one stars Benedict Cumberbatch, and it's one of the computer animated Dr. Seuss adaptations, which aren't that strong. But to be honest, no Dr. Seuss adaptation's been that strong, has it? Other than the Grinch, I really do view the Jim Carrey Grinch as a fantastic Christmas movie. I really do. I watch it every Christmas. I'll watch it this Christmas. I'm actually planning to review it in December, so stay tuned for that. I absolutely love the film. I actually think that it's very, a lot of people love it, but I think it's very underrated too, because the things Jim Carrey does in that suit are incredible. And the way, at the end, where he can make you feel emotional, where, he realises the true meaning of Christmas, I think is sensational. I think his performance is no one could have done it at that time. That's how great it was. And I think the movie was a big time kind of extravaganza of a movie. And so this one kind of pales in comparison. This one kind of feels small time. It feels like it was just put out there to have a Grinch movie out there, because we hadn't done one for a while. There's no extravaganza to the movie. It's more of an intimate feeling tale, and it's more of a simple take on the tale, I guess. And that has its merits in this, but it does have the film coming off as a bit boring in places and a bit lifeless. I mean, the film is very, very short. It's just literally, here's the Grinch story. There's nothing special about the film. But nevertheless, I had fun watching it. I do think it lacks everything that the Jim Carrey Grinch had. I really, really do. But as a kid's film, this is more of a kid's movie. It takes everything dark out of the Grinch, and it kind of just makes it a kind of grumpy guy. The weird thing about this film is, with the Grinch, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, is that he's not an urban legend in the town like he was in the Jim Carrey film. There's no real reason why he should be living at the top of the mountain. He's just some geezer. It's just some green geezer who lives in the town. Like, he walks around, everyone knows who he is, but for some reason they don't talk to him. The weird thing about this is, no wonder the Grinch feels lonely. He lives in the town, and everyone kind of ignores him. So no wonder he's pissed off. It's like, he's just some geezer, some green guy who walks around the town. Like, why is this guy green? Why does he have to live away from us? Why are we kind of treating him like he doesn't exist? In the Jim Carrey Grinch, they treated him as like a freak and an urban legend and barely believing in him. In this one, he just exists, and they're just like, yeah, it's that green guy. We don't really speak to him. He's, no wonder he hates you guys. No wonder he hates you who's. Benedict Cumberbatch, I actually think is really, really good as a Grinch in this. I think his voice does wonders for the character, which is a bit, it was a bit of unpredictability for me, because I was not expecting to like him at all, because in the trailers are terrible. The trailers for this film are a load of old arse, and they have the Grinch for some reason doing bizarre Olympics in his house, which doesn't happen in this film. So it just makes it like a absolute plonker. Just makes it, and his voice didn't come across that well. It's nothing like the Jim Carrey Grinch voice. It's more of a charming voice. It's more of a nice voice to hear. But he can be grumpy. He can have that Grinch style to him. It's just not an overly aggressive Grinch. And they were going for a more kidified approach. So in the restraints of this movie, I think Benedict Cumberbatch is quite funny, and with his voice, I think his performance brings this character on screen to life. I was a big fan. I mean, I would have rather have cast someone like Bill Murray as the Grinch, personally, but I still think Benedict Cumberbatch actually nailed it, because this is a very, very weak film in areas, but as long as he was on screen, I was enjoying it, and I think this is just a harmless movie, it's a harmless movie. It's kind of just there, it's good. It lacks a lot. It lacks a punch. It lacks an emotional punch. It doesn't have the charm of the Jim Carrey movie. It has little, simple, small moments of charm, and it could have been a hell of a lot more, this movie, actually. The more I think about it, watching it, I was perfectly content, but then afterwards you're like, that could have been a lot more. There was a lot in there that they could have took further, that they could have made memorable. Maybe they said to themselves, look, we just can't compete with the Jim Carrey Grinch. Everyone loves it too much. Let's just kind of try and go underneath it and be more of a low-key, sort of fun kids movie, which is fine, but there does seem like there's ingredients here that could have come to life a bit more. I mean, I really like some of the side characters. I like Kenan Thompson of Kenan and Kel fame plays the Grinch's neighbour in this, who's just one of those overly enthusiastic people who loves Christmas. I thought he was a blast in the movie. There could have been more in there with him and the Grinch, kind of their banter back and forth. I quite like Cindy Lou in this. She kind of has her own agenda in the film. Her life isn't based around, she's not the cutesy little kid in this. She's just a kid. I do fully agree that one of the issues with the Grinch, which I kind of overlook because I just love the film so much, is that Taylor Momsen is too cutie in that film. She's too much of just a lovely kid. She's too nice. She's too her life's based around trying to make the Grinch happy, which she's got no flaws. Whereas in this, Cindy Lou's kind of just a kid on her own kind of parallel lines to the Grinch, and her life isn't based around pleasing the Grinch, but she's still very, very kind, but she's a fun character in this. So I like that, and I might have liked to see more moments of Cindy Lou in this, because she was fun to watch as well. She was a kid having fun, she wasn't taking life seriously like the girl in the 2001 film. She was kind of trying to make the grown-ups think how she thought and make them realise Christmas again. This one isn't. This is just a kid having fun, and it turns out a kid having fun with a kind heart is what converts the Grinch. Now, I do think that the Grinch's kind of moment where he turns things around in this is god-awful, I will say that. It's fantastic in the Jim Carrey one. I defy anyone. That scene where Jim Carrey says maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store, maybe Christmas means a little bit more, is stunning. Ron Howard just puts the camera on Carrey, and Carrey's face in that moment, in all that makeup, the way he speaks, the music in the background, the little smile he has afterward, just warms my heart. And I know it will. I'll watch it in December and that will warm my heart. It's an absolutely heartwarming moment, and there's nothing like that in this. And it's very like, oh, okay, so the Grinch is now he's redeemed himself, and there's nothing that leads him to that point, that means anything with substance. It's kind of like a click. It's kind of like Scrooge. It's as if someone brought a cake to Scrooge and went, here's a cake, Mr. Scrooge, and then Mr. Scrooge just goes, oh, bloody love Christmas, me. That's the immediacy of this turn. It's like Anakin turning to the dark side, just so fucking immediate, mate. What you thinking? Needs to be some build up so it actually resonates. And that's what I mean, like, this does treat the audience like a little kid, and the themes underneath the surface aren't given a lot of time to grow. But it is for kids, what can you say? I mean, I had fun watching the film, and that's all I can say. I mean, it's a disappointment overall, but it's still harmless. I still think Benedict Cumberbatch done well. I still think there was some fun side characters. I like the animation was charming. I didn't get bored. People say this draws things out, which I don't understand, because the film's an hour and 18 minutes. What are you thinking, guys? How is that drawn out? I think it's quite a fast-paced movie, but it does suffer from the problems that most of the computer-generated Dr. Seuss films have. They're just thrown out there, and I don't like that, because there's so much to Dr. Seuss. People who say the Jim Carrey Grinch misses a lot of the point of Dr. Seuss. If that movie missed it, what did this movie do? This movie's sweet and all, but that's it. There's nothing, there's no themes explored and no smart, quirky moments at all. It's just a kid's adventure with not much thinking to it. And, you know, granted, if you're going to make your kids, if you're going to give your kids something to go and see this Christmas, The Grinch is perfect for it. You know, you will get some enjoyment out of it even as an adult, because it's just a film that unfolds before your eyes. But if you're someone who knows the Grinch story and wants something more out of Christmas movies, it will disappoint. But there are little nuggets in there that will, keep you happy while you're watching it. So that's my thoughts on The Grinch 2018. Thanks for listening to this video podcast. And guess what, guys? I am planning lots and lots of Christmas reviews in December. Yes, I am. But until then, I'm going to carry on with my videos on retro movies and superhero movies. In the meantime, Christmas month comes around. I absolutely love it. I'm going to be doing retro Christmas movies, all sorts of stuff, Christmas lists. So stay tuned for that. I'm already in the Christmas spirit, guys. I've already got 2 Christmas jumpers, so I'm loving it. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Jim and I'm obsessed with movies. And if you're obsessed with movies and you find yourself talking about them 24/7, this is definitely the place for you. Please consider subscribing. Thanks for listening, everyone, and I will see you in the next video.